It's time for us to begin. And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. And to those who are joining us for the first time, we give you a special welcome. And to the people joining us on YouTube, we're glad that you are with us as well. And I asked the Reb for not only showing up today, but also deciding to stay. We do get extra brownie points. Just some reminders that if your cell phone, be sure that it's on silent or cut it off, please. Reb?
Good morning, you hearty people. I'm glad we didn't advertise that we do not have heat this morning. I'm glad it's cold out and you were wearing your coats. I'll ring the bell 7 times in honor of our 7 Unitarian Universalist principles. Now I share with you our congregational covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world. Do we have opening music? Our opening words come from a fellow by the name of Ramez Cecil. Abundance means plenty or very large quantity of something. It is an innate tendency of nature and of life to manifest, to grow, and to become more. It is a tendency of the life force to produce more, to create more of everything. New things are being constantly invented. Scientists say that the universe is always expanding and growing, and even new stars are being born. This is bountifulness on a cosmic level. Abundance is everywhere in the universe, and it can also appear in your personal life if you let it. The universe seems to be constantly creating new things. You and I are part of this plenty. Our words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you're filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with other, all who welcome all are welcome here. Our chalice lighting words. We light this chalice with the knowledge that the universe is expanding. May the meaning of our chalice expand as well. May it light the hearts and minds of those who seek a restful place where they are valued for who they are, not who they think they ought to be. We welcome with open arms each authentic self. You're on.
Good morning, everyone, and you too out there in YouTube land. I'm Bonnie Evans, and I work with Jesse in the Lifespan Faith Development Department. And Jesse couldn't be here today, so here I am. And one quick plug, see this wonderful leather jacket? It's been hanging out there for a year at least in our closet. So since I didn't wear a coat today, I borrowed it. So you see, I'm wearing someone's abundance. So if any of you recognize this wonderful jacket, hey, I'm going to hang it back out there after I use it today. Abundance, what is it? Reverend Walter has alluded to abundance this morning already. I looked up, of course, I Googled abundance, and I found several synonyms for abundance. Plenty, lavish, bounty, quantity, multitude, mass, copious, profuse, and my favorite, a lot. Or, to use slang terms, slew, gobs, scads, oodles, tons, scores, heap, or pile. They all represent abundance, right? As adults, we all have abundance to share. From our time and energy through volunteering in our church community or in our larger community, to sharing our talents and skills for organizing, entertaining, maintaining, or beautifying,
to sharing our resources through donations to Pack a Snack, reading seeds, cooking for Family Promise, recycling at our monthly recycling events, to sharing our knowledge by passing it on through teaching and leadership. And our children and youth can honor their abundance by sharing smiles, comfort, acceptance, friendship, toys, food, and their time. Sounds like something adults can do too, doesn't it? Think about your abundance and how you might share it. Someone or something can use it. I want to give you a prime example of sharing your abundance. Right here in our community at UUCR, our congregants share their abundance by donating to UUCR's successful mission, Reading Seeds. This mission is where we donate new books to children from toddler age through third grade. The recipients are children at Raleigh Court Head Start and the 4 Southwest City Elementary Schools that we support through Congregations in Action, of which we're a member. Our program is so successful that we are adding volunteers to the committee and researching to add other outlets to give free new books to more children to encourage them to read. One of these outlets is the West End Center, who is the recipient of today's special collection. I'm proud to be involved with a community who shares their abundance in so many ways.
And Reverend LaFleur will be very proud. We were actually talking some about abundance and living the question today. So, our reading this morning comes from Soul Salt. It's a company with the tagline, "Stop Fearing Scarcity, How to Create an Abundant Mindset." You've heard the phrase, "You are your own worst enemy." This can be true for many people stuck in a scarcity mode instead of embracing an abundance mindset. It's hard to go after what you really want in life. Patterns of negative self-talk like, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do that," can hold you back from achievement. Living in abundance means to see the endless potential in yourself and others. When you expand your perspective and develop an abundance mindset, you can open up your life to limitless opportunities. And there are key traits for people with an abundance mindset. Thinking big. People with abundance mindset tend to think big rather than limit themselves to a bird's eye view of their circumstances. They also have a growth mindset. Living in abundance means having a growth mindset, the belief that you can improve your intelligence and skills with effort, and you aren't stuck with what you have. Optimism, it's the glass is half full type of person, focusing on what they have rather than on what they lack. And knowing that there's enough to go around. Abundance thinking means seeing a limitless amount of resources such as love, money, and success. In other words, someone else's success or advantage does not take away from your own. Generosity of spirit. They feel genuinely happy when other people's success rather than being resentful of that. They also embrace change. They accept and embrace change rather than resist. Taking action. They take a proactive approach to life by seizing opportunities and working towards their goals. They also plan ahead. They plan for the future rather than waiting around for things to happen. They also know their strengths and their weaknesses. They have identified their strengths, then use these qualities to go after what they want. They accept their shortcomings rather than being limited by them.
We don't have the music that we normally have with our wonderful Carrie. She is in quarantine for today.
Bonnie mentioned we have a special collection this morning for the West End Center, another great way to share our abundance. First and most importantly, I need to let you know how to contribute because pretty soon the ushers are going to be coming through with the baskets. You can put checks, cash in the baskets or else checks, and the checks need to be made out to UUCR, not to the West End Center, but to UUCR, but put West End Center in the memo line. That way the check will go to the special collection. Today's beneficiary, the West End Center, was nominated for a collection by Kitty Shear, who was a volunteer tutor at the center for many years. Sadly for us, Kitty has moved to Charlottesville, so isn't here with us today to tell you about the center, but I'll do my best to fill in a little bit very, very briefly. The West End Center for Youth was established in the late 1970s as a safe haven for youth in a neighborhood that was threatened by poverty and crime. Since then, the center has grown tremendously and now each year serves about 150 children who live in Roanoke's most disadvantaged neighborhoods. Its goal is to equip children with the developmental assets they need to become productive, responsible adults. The center has an after-school program where elementary and high school students work with volunteer tutors, as Kitty was, to complete their homework. They participate in hands-on STEM activities, learn time management, goal setting, peace building, and leadership skills, and enjoy physical activities and healthy snacks and meals. The center has a very successful pregnancy and school dropout prevention program and a full-day summer program with academic and outdoor activities for the kids. It also offers parents a support group and classes on financial literacy, wellness, cooking, and nutrition. We hope you will contribute to this good work, either by putting money in the basket, or you also can, if it's easier, contribute online. The instructions for doing that and the link to do that were in last week's newsletter and will be in the coming week's newsletter as well. Thanks very much.
It's gonna be perfect this time. That's gonna make it on the cut.
Thank you. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming. One never knows when one experiences the power of community. Little did you know that you would be warming one another this morning in our building without heat. And we can reach beyond our walls to warm the needs of the larger community. Thank you for your generosity. I've been enthralled by the James Webb Space Telescope. It's not because I understand it or the universe, because I don't. But I guess, in fact, that's the thing. I'm fascinated by it because I don't know or understand much about the universe, galaxies, planets, and the Big Bang. I just don't get it. It's hard to get my head wrapped around it. Where was it? What was it before the Big Bang? The book of Genesis tells us, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. I've always taken that to mean God was in heaven above the earth. I somehow dropped off the S on the end of the word heavens. Perhaps all this time I've belittled the scope of God's creation or creations. I don't remember any of my religious teachings are to focus on the S at the end of the word heavens. Having studied psychology, I wonder if that's because we humans are fundamentally egocentric. Constraining part of those defined as part of our clan and our tribe. even if we expand the definition of all of humanity, we set clear limits on our sense of inclusion. But that's a sermon for another time. The notion of James Webb Space Telescope simply amazes me. The science and the technology in and of itself astounds. I've read that that thing is traveling at some 720 miles per hour. And that it'll take 30 days to travel 1 million miles and go into orbit around the sun. Around the sun in line with the Earth, 1 million miles away. Phenomenal. According to NASA, the telescope will focus on 4 main areas. First, light in the universe, assembly of galaxies in the early universe, birth of stars, and protoplanetary systems and planets, including the origins of life. No small stuff, that. And oh, by the way, the universe is expanding. Is there anything that can better elucidate the meaning of abundance? And we, humans, we think we're all that, right? I'm bemused by the sense of our superiority, by how much we think we know, how much we act as if we know. But when you put the S back in heavens, we might need to recalibrate our definitions and our perspective. Now, none of this is to say that human beings lack abundance. Abundance is a relative term, and abundance comes in multiple forms. I would argue we all have abundance, even if we don't know it, even if we don't recognize it, even if we think we are poor, uneducated, or short. We possess abundance. But there is no denying some folks are elevated above others, that some folks elevate themselves above others, that some folks are better known, more able than the majority. And there are those who stand out because they're deemed by society to be set apart from the norm, representing a quality or skill that is relatively unique among us human beings. We all can name well-known authors, artists, performers who stand apart from the norm. Those who demonstrated unusual quality are notably different and verge on the exceptional. Those whose power and persona capture attention, positive attention, even negative attention. We just celebrated the life and death of one such person that stood out. We called him the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Martin was a man of abundance, a man with abundance. At the age of 35, he was the youngest man ever to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, 35 years old. Now, I don't know for sure, but it's said that while in Boston, he went to Boston University, While in Boston, Barton considered joining Unitarian Universalism. There are bunches and bunches of Unitarian Universalist church in Boston. But ultimately he decided that UUism could not sustain him theologically and spiritually. You can do with that what you will. Martin came to the world at the perfect time, made of the perfect stuff to lead an entire country, not just the Black community. Martin quite literally led a nation into another era. Whether or not they wanted to be pushed or pulled in that direction. He was one in a million, as they say. He was a prophet in our times. He was the son and grandson of Baptist ministers, and he served his first year at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. While there, he served on the executive committee of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So he was well positioned then, in 1955, to lead a great Negro nonviolent demonstration in Montgomery. We talk about it as the Great Bus Boycott. The bus boycott went on for 382 days. The following year, the Supreme Court found that bus segregation was unconstitutional. And during that time, King's home was bombed. He was arrested. He endured abuse, as did his family, of all sorts. And he became a target for the Federal Bureau of Investigations. In 1963, King and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference embarked on an astounding mission to integrate Birmingham businesses, grounded in the theory of nonviolent direct action. First, adults and then young folks engaged the government in highly public confrontation. After thousands of arrests, Bull Connor brought out the fire hoses and the dogs. The world saw the ugly reality of life in Birmingham, Alabama. It prompted King's famous letter from a Birmingham jail. It was a manifesto of the Negro Revolution. King was deeply grounded in the tenets of Christianity. He studied and incorporated the operational techniques of Gandhi. He later gathered 250,000 people. That included my mother and my sister. I was deemed too young to take the trip to DC. In Washington, DC, they heard the famous I have a dream speech. Martin had an abundance of spirit, an abundance of religiosity, an abundance of courage, knowledge, and vision. He had an abundant sense of morality, equity, and fair play. His commitment to democracy was abundant. He embodied the love of Jesus. Some form of abundance can be found almost anywhere you look. Have you looked recently? Have you seen abundance? You see, abundance is found in its boldness. But you'd be forgiven if you didn't recognize or even know it. Americans have been trained in the tenets of what I call lack. Western world culture has been designed to focus on lack. L-A-C-K, lack. Lack is grounded in lack, which is a sense of not enough, and therefore an urge, a sense of the need for more, and then more, and more. Bigger, better, faster, more. It drives capitalism. Buy low, sell high. Profit is king. Go into debt in service of obtaining more. Work hard, lie, cheat, steal, or come from a wealthy family, all in service of more. But corporations wouldn't frame it that way. They'd call it packaging, marketing, innovation, even the future. And or added pleasure, comfort, ease, beauty, a better life, each implying more, or at least the need for more. The same notion applies to life, the life of the individual, at least in this part of the world. The unspoken but operationalized societal construct is that those with a PhD are better than those with a mere BA or BS, and those with a master's degree are superior to those without. And those with a college degree are superior, of course, to those who have none. And the continuum continues in multiple variations. The size and location of a home, the make of a car, type of clothing are all taken as symbols of social status and hence perceived value of the person. Oh, we don't say it out loud, but it's a truth that hides in plain sight, especially in polite society. And speaking of plain sight, the color of one's skin, the size of one's nose, the social status indicator, our social status indicators as well. In fact, they alone may be seen as more indicative of social status than the make of one's car, the number of degrees one has, even the neighborhood of one's home address. Everyone has more of something. Everyone has less of something. Often that something is plural. And sometimes the very people who have more can have an abundance of less of some other valuable asset or characteristic. And it's not at all unusual for those with an external manifestation of less to be imbued with the abundance of something other. Having abundance does not require or reflect the lack of abundance of something else. Who was it that said, "Don't judge a book by its cover"? Whoever it was, I'm pretty sure it was someone different than the person who said, "Walk a mile in my shoes." And I know I've read somewhere that God loves all his children. Perhaps there's learning to be had here. Perhaps there is a course correction needed. Perhaps. Because we all bring something to the party of life. We all bring an upside, and we all have a downside. It must be, or else we would see pure perfection walking in the streets of any given community. While we may see beautiful people, we'll never find a perfect one. And we will not find a totally down-sided person either. We may need to look a little harder to find goodness or the upside, but it's there. It is there in everyone. We may need to adjust our glasses or the lens through which we're looking, but it's there. It can be a sad state of affairs, but there are people, perhaps many we know, that have little to no awareness of their own abundance. What a sad thing. Some may even see their abundance as a negative or something to be hidden or shamed by. Too many of us take in other people's opinions and perspectives as truth with a capital T, outweighing our own individualized judgment and assessments. I believe it would serve us all to take time to look for and access the abundance in our own lives. Abundance that resides within, an abundance that we have access to. We all have abundance, even if we fail to see it, even if it goes unacknowledged by others, even if we fail to use it. Unacknowledged abundance is such a waste. It may even be what we might call sinful. A wonderful New Year's resolution would be to befriend your abundance. Go looking for it if you must. Become well acquainted with that wonderful aspect of yourself, even if others fail to see it, even if others fail to value it. Trust it, like it, embrace it. It's yours to be used, yours to be put to advantage to both you and the rest of the universe. Cherish it, nurture it, water it. Please know the world is filled with abundance. It comes in many forms and it serves many purposes. And it has many different effects and effects. Know that you yourself are comprised of abundance. You are abundance. We each have a zillion cells in our body. Abundance. Those million cells simultaneously are doing what they've been designed to do in their own individualized abundance. Each playing a role in the unfolding of your life, and by extension, the unfolding of the universe. Praise be, for we are all that there is. We are all part of all that there is, part of the unfolding of tomorrow. born of today, out of this very moment, and out of the next moment that follows. Praise be, each of us is here to play a role in the expansion of this abundant universe that is expanding. Amen and ashe for our presence. Do we have lifelines this morning?
Good morning. I'm Terry Smith, a member of the Caring Committee. And as you know, the Caring Committee has lots of responsibilities, including we catalog and make note of the joys and concerns of members of the congregation that we share with you as lifelines. If you would like to share personal news with the community, you can email Sally Garber. She's the head of the Caring Committee, or send your message to the church office by noon on Friday for inclusion in the Sunday announcements. You can also sign the Lifelines book, which we keep on the altar table before and after the service. And during the week, it's kept on a stand in the alcove near the name tag rack. So let me invite you into a place of quiet reflection. Betsy Biesenbach's friend had a 24-year-old son who was killed. Please hold the family in your thoughts at this time. We also have an expression of much love and deep gratitude for the Vietnamese Zen master and now ascended master Thich Nhat Hanh. He was and is love in action. Beth Carruthers has learned that her 3 grandchildren again have COVID. It's made several passes through the family. They are all recovering at home. And we had a string of surgeries among our members and friends. And rather than feeling bad about it, I choose to say, isn't this great that our healthcare system is strong enough to let people come in and have surgeries that they need? That includes Judy Hopping, who had rotator cuff surgery last week. Michael Adams also had surgery last week and is recuperating. Jim Brochart had surgery on a heart valve a week ago Tuesday. And Leah Whitney had spinal surgery on Thursday. I want to also mention our pebbles. There's a bowl with water and pebbles. If you'd like to silently express a joy or concern, you're invited to drop a pebble into the water. And now, we reflect on these joys and concerns of our community. Let us be in a spirit of meditation. Reverend Walter and I will light candles to signify the silent joys and concerns we all may hold in our hearts.
Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul.
Let that wonderful piece of music, that wonderful message, be our prayer this morning. Teresa, do you have announcements?
Well, Sam, our administrator wrote up a wonderful list, and it was a very long list describing the West End Center. But since Lorraine has already covered that, I'll just say very quickly, it's a wonderful program. They do a lot in the community, not only for the children from disadvantaged neighborhoods, but also to provide supports to the parents. And many of those parents are probably having to work 2 jobs just to meet basic needs for their families. So it's an excellent program. And thanks to Heather Mason, our church website is live again. Yes, big hand. And it should be visible to everybody. There are still, the content still needs to be updated. And we're all working on that, so we appreciate your patience. The process is underway soon, and we'll keep everyone updated as things continue to improve. If you did have trouble with the website before, you can try to access that website now. And if you're still having trouble loading it, please let Heather know or call the church office and leave a message with Samantha. And again, thanks everybody for their patience. And just a reminder, I'm sure a lot of us have heard about this, but every home in the United States is eligible to have a free at-home COVID test. They're completely free, and they will ship directly to your home, typically within 7 to 12 days. But my understanding is that will begin at the end of January. And these are rapid antigen tests. They should render results within 30 minutes. If you want to order these free tests, please visit covidtest.gov. If you need help with that, Sam in the office has offered to help. And we have a new team at UUCR. Everyone knows that the General Assembly is in session for 2022. And Judy Nelson is here today, I believe. If you want to stand, she is taking on the leadership of the Action Advocates team to encourage UUCR members and friends to contact their legislators on bills that pertain to UU principles during the General Assembly. If you have any questions or would like to talk about how you can get involved, Judy will be available to talk to you. Updates for this team will be in the weekly UUCR newsletter under the Teams and Committees section. And a special thanks to Judy for taking this on and for keeping us all informed. We need to make a correction in this week's newsletter. On Wednesday, January 26th, the 11 a.m. Chalice group will be meeting via Zoom and not in the sanctuary. Sam said that she would like to humbly ask your forgiveness for the oversight and will apologize profusely if people do show up in person on the 26th. If you want information on how to access that particular Zoom session, then again, Sam can help you. Just call the church office. I'm questioning this next announcement. It's saying that there will be a virtual discussion on critical race theory and systemic racism next Saturday, the 29th. That has been planned as an in-person meeting, and it's the Montgomery County committee that has been working on racial justice issues for a few years. We'll try to get some clarification on whether or not they've changed that to a virtual meeting, and if so, we'll send that out. That's an excellent group. They've done some great work, and Dr. Warnie Reed, who teaches at Tech and has just been declared a professor emeritus, is a strong part of the leadership there. The UUCR newsletter is going to be moving to a monthly format, and we'll keep you updated in your email. A reminder that the UUCR men's group meets on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. in the Olin Room. Members typically will discuss what's going on in their lives, offer support to each other in a very laid back and comfortable atmosphere. If you would like to spend an hour with some good men, please get in contact with Ron Salzbach, or you can stop by at the next meeting, which is on Tuesday, the 25th, and everyone is welcome. Or all the men are welcome, I should say. Until further notice, and this has been in the newsletter, we're suspending the K through 5 religious education on Sunday. This was a decision made by the ministerial staff and the board for the protection of our congregation. I'm sure that was a very difficult decision-making process, and we appreciate that effort. Little language problem this morning. Choir practice has been suspended until February, and at that time, the situation will be reassessed and they'll announce any updates. In the meantime, if you'll check your email frequently for details on Zoom activities that are available for everyone to stay connected. And again, a very special thanks to Heather Mason for her work on the church website. That has been a very frustrating and difficult road, and there have been many issues and complications, but Heather took it on. She jumped in with both feet and took on what's listed here as a beast of a project, and I'd say that's an understatement. And again, a special thanks to Heather for her dedication to detail and the commitment to our church. She is definitely one of a kind. And I'm pretty sure Gary would agree with me on that. Yeah. The Tuesday night Tales event that had been scheduled for January 25th has been canceled. If you're interested in presenting a story at a future event, then please contact Jesse McEwen. And those are the announcements.
how wonderful, behold how blessed,
Good people, know that you're enough. Know that you are comprised of abundance and that you have a rightful place in the unfolding of this universe. Cherish thyself. Go into the week in peace.